Bonjour, everybody. Hi, this is Neshi Locott. Welcome to Star Nation's organization's main fan page. And we are doing this morning's card draw, the energy for the day, right here on our fan page. It's Monday morning here in northwestern Wisconsin, Tomah, Wisconsin. It's a beautiful day. And it is Monday, June 25th. I almost said Friday. I don't know if I'm projecting that far forward. So good morning, everybody. Hopefully you will bring your beverage. I have mine. Mine is coffee this morning. My very first cup. It's been an interesting morning here, that's for sure. And so join me today with today's card read because we have a new addition to it. And for those people who may be just watching for the very first time, just a little explanation. I've been doing card draws to see what the energy is for the day for years, right? And in last fall, I decided I was going to maybe take a quote or two, a sentence or two out of the information and post it on our Instagram account for Star Nations. And that went well. And then come along's May, and I thought, well, maybe our community members here at Star Nations would enjoy knowing the backstory to that card draw and have maybe a conversation about the energy of it, right? Good morning, Elise Miller. Good morning. How are you doing today, Elise? We're doing pretty good here. Busy but good. Busy but good. And so I started doing just a regular old live stream. We're not using our partners at Be Live. Those are for the shows that we do, live stream shows here through Star Nation's radio network. And I just wanted to keep it simple, right? Simple. And but it's turned out to be quite fun. And to be able to join with you guys every morning to share about the card draw, to have conversation in the chat, to get to know people a little bit better. And good morning, Margaret Spooner. Good morning. And good morning to Mary Ann. Mary Ann is probably watching too. Good morning, Mary Ann. So that is how we got started with this live stream here at Star Nations. I enjoy it. And I'm getting to know the community much better than what we've had in the past. Just to spend time together. I thought I was going to do this in 20 minutes. Yeah, right. I'm lucky if we can do it in 45. And that's because some of it's because we digress. Somebody will ask a question or make a statement and we talk about it, or something will trip a memory for me because we're using Native American cards. We're using the Sacred, I hope that's right, yeah, Sacred Path cards by Jamie Sams. And her background is Seneca and I believe Choctaw. But she also writes from other indigenous nations here in the United States, or actually North America. So we're talking about Turtle Island, okay? So this morning I decided, actually I thought about this yesterday. I asked if you guys would want to start using her other deck, Jamie Sam's other deck of cards, which is about the animals, power animals and totems, right? And so this is her other book, her other deck. It's called Medicine Cards. And it's all about animals. And these two decks actually go together. You can use them together, right? You can draw or do the card spread or do a card draw from the Sacred Path cards and then follow it up with cards coming from here. So we see what kind of energy the animals are bringing in, the four-leggeds, the two-leggeds, those who swim, those who crawl. Yeah, all of them. And how they help us with this, with the energy for the card that's being drawn. So that kind of, it was very interesting because getting the card from the Sacred Card Path deck, and then following it up with the medicine cards, it took me just a little bit longer because I spent, of course, time with the what I read, and then talking to my spiritual team, and so once we kind of get a kind of a rhythm going with it, it's kind of slows things down in the morning. And you know what they say about Monday morning, right? Yeah. And then Monday morning here is also a shower day for Mom. And that is always, there's a lot of energy that goes into that. A lot of her energy. And she says, one measly shower feels like I've worked a full 8-hour day, and so we deal with the fatigue and the pain that comes with it. And so, just a bit of a busy morning with that kind of stuff going on. So who else is here? Allie's here. Hello, Allie. And I hope you're pulling 2 cards today. Well, I kind of did. Actually, Spirit, out of the Sacred Path cards, these are the cards that came up. I just want to make sure I mark my page so that get my phone out here. All right, so this is the first one that came up. We've had this one before. The Whirling Rainbow, Unity, Wholeness, Achieved. And this is the card that it's a very feminine card. It was the Whirling Rainbow was brought to the Iroquois Nation and also to the tribes west of the Mississippi, and was brought by a woman, a female, that brought the energy and the knowledge of the Whirling Rainbow. This is the image, the swirling part that was co-opted, literally stolen, by Hitler. And it actually, when you see it, you've seen it many times. It's a swastika. That is the Whirling Rainbow. It's kind of odd that he would take that one, because this card is all about peace and all about wholeness and that sort of thing, right? Is that everybody coming together as one. Everybody. Good morning, Jocelyn. It's so good to see you in the chat. Mary S., you're here too. I love Mondays because I don't work today and I can't listen. Yeah, really. I'm so glad you're here, Mary. And this is the other one that came out. Counting Coup, a victory. Right? And we had this one like really early on in May. And so you might not even remember this one, but Counting Coup. And so these 2 cards came together. Counting Coup and the Whirling Rainbow. Now, Jamie Sams, when she talks about the Whirling Rainbow, the card application, because it's all about all the 2-leggeds coming together, working together, creating together, a peaceful harmony together. Okay. And so this is what she says on the application. Maggie Ryan is in the house. Good morning, Maggie. Oh my gosh. Maggie actually lives here in Wisconsin, not too far from me. So it's good to see you in the house, Maggie. So the Whirling Rainbow was the first card. And Jamie, this is what she writes about the application. Well, wait, let's back up just a little bit, because she says, when the Whirling Rainbow woman of the Navajo and the Hopi brings a cleansing and regenerative rains to the earth, her children are also cleansed and healed. When the rainbow of peace of the Seneca encircles each person's sacred space, all will walk in truth, respecting the sacred space of others, and the harmony of living on earth will be restored. Okay? Now, the application she's talking about is that when we get this card, you're being asked to remove any type of discord from your life in order to grow. In order to grow. And, you know, and I know that people here in Star Nation's community, we're walking our path consciously. We're awake. And we also have another thing in common, and that is that we are willing, wanting to do our healing so that we can, of course, we're talking about ascension here, so that we can fully use all of our gifts here and complete what we came here to do, right? As a soul contract. And when we do that kind of healing, we get closer and closer and closer and closer to our original vibration, our original frequency that we came in with. And so our soul song is really in tune, right? So when we do our healing and we're removing those obstacles, that we have spiritual growth. And that's what we're here to do. Having all those lessons. And Jamie says that don't feed the negativity. Look at any lesson being presented at this time. Learn from them. Focus your attention on creating new beauty and abundance in your life. In other words, heal what you need to heal. Embrace the life lesson. Let go of the negative stuff around it. And embrace and keep the gifts that came with it, because they all do. Sometimes when you're right in the middle of it, though, you know, you can't really see the gift, and it could be standing right there in front of you because you are so immersed in it and dealing sometimes with the lower vibrational stuff. And so what Jamie is saying is let the negativity stuff go, and you can see the gift more clearly. You can claim it. You can grab it. And she says, you need not take on issues of others when the discord is due to their lack of unity within themselves. So, you know, we're that mirror for each other, right? And so when somebody is mirroring something, and you're thinking, oh, what's my stuff in here? What's my responsibility in this? And so if you can identify what needs to be healed or the blocks that need to be removed, you can only do that for yourself, right? You can't do that for the other person, or the other people. And so you take care of your side of the street and heal what needs to be healed, learn what needs to be learned, so that she says, remember that any challenges to unity are equal to your ability to overcome them. So in other words, that we have the ability for the unity and wholeness. And I have to say that I've never used the whirling rainbow energy until I think it was the first time we drew this card, and I was having a conversation with another two-legged that was we needed to talk about some things that were contentious, and it's just, you know, but the conversation had to occur. And so we went into the conversation, and it got kind of prickly and uncomfortable, and I was losing my focus and my clarity. And I was getting frustrated with it because I couldn't figure out how else I could say what I needed to say in a way that they could possibly hear it, right? And I'm even talking out loud to my guides, my spiritual team, and I was going, all right, I need help here. What am I supposed to do with this now? You know, I need some clarity with this, or something that can help me get through this. And just at that moment, because we were doing a Skype call, a notification popped up on my screen. And I think it was a YouTube notification that the video that we did, the live stream, had been recorded and moved over to YouTube for me, right? And the notification came up that the Whirling Rainbow was on YouTube. And so I took that as a sign. And so I'm talking to my team again, and I asked them, how do I use this? this whirling rainbow energy, this energy of peace and wholeness in this conversation. How can we use that so we can move the energy into peace and wholeness? And literally, they showed me like the cone of silence and rainbow colors coming down over the conversation. And the conversation did shift. It shifted into something a little bit more peaceful, and we could agree on a couple of things. And so I know for a fact that this energy of the whirling rainbow, when we use it, it works. It works. So, but what does that mean for us today? How do we employ this today? What about it is important for us today? And then we get to this card, counting coup, a victory. Counting coup, the victory. Jamie Sams, I love what she does and with her cards in the book, is she gives us the historical value of the essence of the counting coup, or what's on the card, right? And so she was explaining that in the old ones, in ancient days, 500-700 years or more ago, tribal nations here in the United States had something called counting coup. And it wasn't killing your opponent. It was getting as close as possible to touch them without getting hurt, or taking something from them without getting hurt, taking their shield or their weapon or their horse, or so that was the measurement of bravery. And it also had something to do with protection of the women and the children, right? And so in this card, what Jamie was talking about is, I'm trying to find what it was. She says, on modern medicine shields are made from truth. Okay, so she's talking about how this can apply to us today. The things that are our opponents, I'm not going to say enemies, but our opponents, is not necessarily a two-legged per se, but it's the things that they bring up in us, the emotions that they bring up to us. And those are the ones that we may have the hardest to deal with. Okay. And some of those, she says, that it could be inner conflict, ignorance, envy, jealousy, willful pride, fear, bitterness, hatred, greed, bigotry, racism, gossip, resentment, and broken promises. Those are our opponents, just a short list. Okay. And then, so this card, counting coup, is how do we come to the opponents and take something away from them? So it neutralizes, right? There's no violence in it, no violence. But how do we face those opponents and come away with something that's positive from it, right? And so she goes on to say that our modern medicine shields are made from truth. Our weapons are living in that truth. And our prize is our future, bringing the healing of Earth Mother's children. Every two-legged has been asked to accomplish these coups through the discovery and the healing of the self. And so our biggest, we're going to do the air quotes, weapons against the opponent is really our own healing. So that we go into and facing those triggers, those things that bring up those really strong negative emotions. And do I even want to call them negative? Because they're like red flags they're like the warning button has been pressed, right? That that the anger, the fear, the jealousy, the gossip, they're all red flags. It's like, okay, what is this in here that bugs me about this? What's the emotion with it? And what is around that I need to heal? So there again, taking care of our own side of the street, right? All right, so the application of this card from Jamie Sam, she says, shout of victory is assured if you received the Counting Coup card. You are being put on notice that a personal victory is in the works. Whether the victory is one of spiritual nature or winning the lottery, it makes no difference. You are to honor yourself at all times and be grateful for this blessing. So even in the smallest victories, in the smallest steps that we take, when we sense that we got this, I understand it. Oh, I know what that is now. The energy shifts. That's all times when we should be grateful and joyful, cheering. We did it, okay? That's the counting of a coup. She says it represents a success of forward movement and the acknowledge of right action. You've been true to yourself and are being rewarded for staying on the sacred path. In other words, when we stand in our own truth in a kind way and we count that coup, that's the victory. It's the victory of mastering ourselves, right? She says victory is sweet, but sweeter still when the spoils are shared for those you care for. Share the joy of the coup with those who you want to see you winning. In other words, you share it with your community. You share it with your friends, with your close family, whether it's blood family or not, is sharing it. Okay, I usually read the poem that goes with this, but I'm going to wait just a little bit because I want to cover the animals that came with this, okay? Because I tell you what, you can't make this stuff up. Now, using the medicine cards, the question I asked my team, my spiritual team, was, so what animals are important for us to know about in combination with the whirling rainbow and the counting coup? And how can they help us, right? And so this is the first one that showed up. Look at him. The opossum. An opossum. You know, he gets kind of a bad reputation, doesn't he? He's the North American marsupial. She has her babies and keeps them in her body to nurture them, to bring them close. Okay. So here's the possum. So what does that have to do with counting coup and the whirling rainbow? It has to do with the victory, because with the possum uses a great deal of strategy. A great deal of strategy. They use everything at their disposal that they can. So, you know, we all know about playing possum, right? The faking out. Well, that is one of their tools that they use to protect themselves, right? And when they do that, they actually have this chemical, this scent that they release that is found with when an animal dies or is dead, okay, and is dying, that they release this scent. And so Jamie is writing about how dramatic a possum can be. They're kind of like the award winning, um, the award winning actor uses everything at their disposal. It's in the diversion. They try to divert their energy, their opponent. She says that you're being asked to use strategy in some present situation. That the opossum is beckoning you to use your brain, your sense of drama and surprise, to leap over the barrier to your progress. So there's an old saying, fake it till you make it. I'm not sure I really agree with that. But there's aspects to having to understand something well enough to be able to say, you know what, I kind of get that. I want to take it further. How do I get to the further part? I want to bring this into the earth plane, whatever it is. I want to bring it. How do I do that? And so the opossum uses everything at their disposal to get to that point. I think that it has to do with that, not just the counting, because the counting coup is hard. When you think about in the old days, our ancestors, when they would count coup, they had to have strategy to get close enough to their opponent to be able to touch them with their coup stick, to take something from their opponent. They had to have strategy in order to do that. And many times they actually worked in groups too. So I think Spirit is telling us that we need to use everything at our disposal to win that victory in a peaceful, kind way. We're going to take the high road with it, right? That's what I think. I don't know. What do you guys think about the opossum? This is the first time we're using the animal cards in conjunction with the card for the day. The second card that came out, and they literally came out together. In fact, Paul was just leaving to go into town to run some errands, and I was shuffling the deck, and these cards literally flew out and landed on the floor. I had to get up and go get them. And he was saying, man, he goes, when they kick those cards out, they really want you to know that those are the ones, And I said, yeah. And they came out together. This is the other one that came out, was the turkey. Now, the turkey is a giveaway bird. We use everything about the turkey. The turkey literally gives its life, right? That is the ultimate sacrifice, is to give your life for someone else to be able to live. And that is what the turkey is about for a lot of indigenous people here on Turtle Island. Let's see, Jocelyn just said something. She says, there's a rainbow gathering on a Bull Mountain National Forest. They're expecting up to 20,000 from all over the states and country. It's to be a peaceful gathering and all people living together in peace. I plan on going. I plan on going. It scrolled, sorry. Going through it, they will be there for a month. Oh yeah, all living people together in nature. Yeah, the rainbow people. Yeah, the thing is, Jocelyn, I'm glad you're going, and I think that it would be a really great experience to be able to do that, to live in community and in peace with a lot of people. When you have that many people in one spot for even a week, yeah. Be really aware of how the connection is with Grandmother Earth. What's that one saying about you take out what you take out what you brought in, that kind of thing. you know. The reason why I say this is because I know even with help and planning, when the water protectors came together to protect the Missouri River, there were hundreds of thousands of people there for the summer. You know, a lot of people coming and going kind of thing. Some people stayed there the entire time. But when you get that many people in one spot, the balance has to really be in the forefront. The balance. The balance between that many people and Grandmother Earth. There's a scientific term. What is that called? Carrying capacity. And to be able to live with nature and be in harmony and be in balance with that many people. That is going to be so awesome, really, to experience it. Yeah, and I only say that is because just a little bit of experience with porta potties and in November. At least you guys will have warmer weather when you go have your experience. Yeah, yeah, you're gonna have to tell us all about it, Jocelyn, right? Right now, and it started over a week ago. Yeah, yeah. When you go, please share pictures, or even if after you come back, if you want some place to share and tell your story, you can do that here. Sure, we'll do that. That is so great. The Rainbow Tribe. So with the turkey, she says that turkey was the medicine of many saints and mystics. I bet you didn't know that. And that to celebrate it, if you have turkey medicine, your virtues are many. This is not out of some. She says that you act and react on behalf of others. You aspire to help those who need help. This is not out of some sort of sense of self-righteousness, moralism, or religious guilt. That you truly do this out of your heart. She says it is knowing that the Great Spirit resides within all people, and that turkey medicine rests in true balanced ego, in enlightenment. She says you are being given a gift. And she's saying that you may feel the spirit of giving growing within you, and wanting you to share with others. And so the turkey sometimes is really synonymous with the giveaway. And we've talked about the giveaway ceremony before, and giving the best that you have for somebody who's in need. Or it's the energy exchange when there's a ceremony going on, like a naming ceremony, or somebody's getting their first eagle feather or an eagle feather. And so the family of the person receiving will do a giveaway. They will invite the community and do a giveaway. They'll, in modern time, that they will buy like fabric and, like usually 4 yards of some sort of fabric and little gifts and that sort of thing. And they'll be the giveaway. The giving of themselves, right? And with the turkey gives so much of itself away to the people, the two-legged, so that they could survive. In modern time, especially with light workers and healers, we have the tendency to give, and sometimes we're better givers than we are receivers. So we're a little out of balance with that sometimes. So if you have turkey medicine, right? Like we did today, coming up with those 2 cards, the Whirling Rainbow and also the Counting Coup. How does that go together? The giving of themselves. I think it goes with the Whirling Rainbow. That was my take on it. That we as two-leggeds, wanting peace, wanting harmony, bringing it to the earth plane, grounding it here on the earth plane, is that it's in our behavior and our actions, not necessarily our words. And that's where that lies. Is so when you're doing the giveaway, a part of the turkey medicine is what part of that is to help and to bring unity and wholeness. And I think we do a pretty good job here at Star Nations in doing that. That's my take on it anyway, is that the turkey can help us to understand in modern day what that giveaway is. Yeah, I think so. That feels, I don't know how that feels to you. It feels good to me. In those two cards, the possum and the turkey. The possum, the opossum is telling us that use everything that you can, all of your gifts, and as much as you possibly can to achieve that counting coup, to overcome your opponent. And the modern day opponents are not necessarily another two-legged, but those emotions and the healings and to get to heal those. They heal that part of you that has those triggers, right? Yeah. Hey, Rob Kendall's here, and so is Amy Daniels. Hello. Welcome. Jocelyn's also saying that I heard the ones that are rowdy are called the trolls, and they are not allowed to be where all the rainbow people are. Well, good. Because, that's also about talking about sacred space and boundaries, right? Healthy boundaries. And so, and unfortunately, we hear more about the trolls than anybody else. I don't know if it's because, there's the drama that's attached to it, probably. And the bit of gossip that's attached to that, probably. But, comparatively, there's probably more people doing really good things, good work in a good way that we don't hear about, because there's usually not a lot of drama attached to it. And those people who tend to not call attention to themselves when they're doing their spiritual work in that way. They're quietly doing their thing, and they're not there for the accolades, the cameras, and that sort of thing. When they're the counting coup piece, there is one piece that I didn't talk about because I didn't know if it would make much difference. But I think, thank you, Jocelyn, for writing what you did, because in the old days, when they're counting coup and they got and the warriors came back and they were victorious, okay. The ones who counted coup didn't necessarily tell the story, relay what happened in the counting of the coup. It was the witnesses that relayed the story and told of the bravery and told of how the strategy worked, and it was the witnesses that told the story, not the person who was actually counting coup. So it was the witnesses who talked about the ones whose behavior, their actions, led to the victory, right? And so what does that mean in modern day? What does that mean? I think that means that we might not always hear about those that are doing the most work from their hearts. They're not the ones that are going to be having their picture splashed across something, right? Because they're telling their story in that way, right? It's the witnesses It's the witnesses that tell the story. And so, and I think that maybe puts the balance with the ego, because we still need the ego. We're not going to get rid of the ego. We need the ego in balance with our heart. And when we tell our stories, when we're the ones telling the stories, it's more about our process. It's more about the experience of maybe the preparation. Maybe it was about, it's like the other day when I was sharing about the dream time. I think it was yesterday, and I shared some of the stories about my soul traveling that had nothing to do with look what I can do. It was relaying the story so that those that may not have understood what their experience was about, that they were actually traveling because they didn't have the vocabulary to say, this is what happened. I don't understand what that was. And so in that sharing, it's really helping somebody to understand maybe their own experience in a way that, oh, that can really happen. Okay. That was totally different than counting Coup in the old ways. I hope does that make sense? Maybe I'm just rambling. I'm hoping that makes sense. There's a fine line, I think, because in sharing your story, you're also inspiring and helping others in sharing your story. When others share your story, the witnesses share your story, I have to admit, sometimes it's a little embarrassing, because that's not the reason why I do certain things, is to have the accolades, and it's like, I'm just doing my thing. It's just me. But when you have a witness sharing it, I think that puts it puts a bigger light on it, I think. A bigger light. I have to think about that one a little bit. All right. That's the energy for the day. So, as your day unfolds, watching, sensing, feeling the energy as it comes to you, flows around you, through you. How is the whirling rainbow and the counting Coup, how is that energy going to unfold for you today? Are you a witness of it? Are you a direct participant? And if you're either or, the medicine from the possum and the turkey can be very helpful in possibly understanding the events that are occurring, the emotions that are happening. And it could be very helpful to you to remember their medicine, the possum and the turkey. And then again, just take what resonates with you. If any of this information resonates with you, then grab onto it and see how helpful it can be for you. If it didn't resonate, or there are parts of it that didn't resonate with you, that's okay. Just let it go. That's probably for somebody else. Or maybe it was just a seed being planted. Don't know. We'll have to see how it unfolds. With that, I am going to continue the work on the July issue of the magazine. Articles are starting to come in, and so I need to work with those and get them prepped for layout. Looking for the cover image. I've got a couple I need to make a final decision on. And then still promoting the June issue. And we have shows this week. This last week of the month, that last Thursday, is all about Star Nation's elders. I get to produce their shows, which it's like a gift, really, to be able to do that for them. We start with Connie Water Show on Thursday morning at 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central, Spiritual Mysteries of Life. And oh my gosh, when she starts channeling, it's awesome to. I just love listening to elders speak anyway. It always reminds me, I'm kind of have this image of being able to sit on the floor, and listen to the stories and listen to them, and always learning something, right? And then in the evening, on Thursday evening, is the Mystery School with Orchard and Carl Franklin. And this one, the topic came out of last month's show, and this month is going to be about death and beyond. And so we're talking about the astral plane. Is there a heaven? Is there things that we can do now to prepare for what's beyond? Those kinds of things. So this is going to be a really interesting show, I think, on Thursday night. And then we have Polly Jo co-ed course on Tuesday at noon with chakra sessions. And she has soul connections on Wednesday, but at a different time. So be prepared. Different time for soul connections. Her show on Wednesday is going to be at noon Eastern, rather than in the evening. She's got some stuff she's got to get done in the evening. And so she's moving her show up just for that day, for that week, for this week, I should say, to noon. Okay. And I'll put out a couple of promotions so that you guys can remember. And then my show's on Tuesday night. Communications from Home. It is the last Tuesday of the month, and so we'll be doing the unity breath meditation together, breathing together for peace, love, and harmony, right? Yeah. What's Mary saying? Mary saying, won't be listening live for the rest of the week, so everyone have a great week full of blessings. Thank you, Mary. Thank you for letting us know, and I'm so grateful we have the recorded video, so you can always catch up when you can, when you have time to listen. I'm trying to think. I think that's it for right now. We get classes coming up. I still have to schedule the drum making workshop here too. We're going to do that in the fall, probably late October, early November, something like that. All right, so I think this is Julie Hedges. Julie Hedges is saying, yay, unity breath. Yes, I know. It's one of my favorite meditations, not just to lead, but to also to do. So with that, enjoy the rest of your Monday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow for tomorrow's card draw. So Bama Mina, until we see each other again.